Welcome to Her Brains, His Looks Real Estate and Lifestyle podcast. It's hosted by two of the smartest and most attractive realtors in the business, well, according to their mothers. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the brains of the operation, Erika Portanova Songer, and the looks, George E. O'Connell.
Well, I guess you know what that means again, Erika.
Yeah, we are back for another podcast of Her Brains, His Looks. We are excited to be here. And I am, of course, Her Brains, Erika Portanova Songer. And you are?
His Looks, George E. O'Connell. I forgot who I was there for a second.
That's actually usually what I do. So.
Yeah, well, I had to click over to turn off our title page and put on our cameras.
Oh, okay. So we're on now. All right. So hello, welcome. We're glad you're here with us, and we're going to focus tonight on Milford.
The city of Milford.
Oh, the city of, not the town.
No. What's the difference between a town and a city?
Governmental services and size.
Yes.
Yes.
And the way it was chartered.
And the way it was chartered.
Yes.
So it is a city of Milford, not the town.
Correct.
And every week, George and I learn something new about just in general, about the life and world of any towns and cities out there. So
of course.
All right.
So let's kick off Milford, talk a little bit about the city of Milford.
Yep.
And what Milford has to, the annual events and stuff in certain areas. I'm going to jump right in because my family lives in the Laurel Beach area, Laurel Beach section neighborhood of Milford. It's honestly my favorite beach around here in New Haven County, but Fairfield County as well. Gorgeous beach. It's a private association, so they do have some groomings of the beach. And in Laurel Beach, a lot of amenities that come with the association.
I think it's one of the only ones that have association fees, right? Is there any other beach in Milford? I don't believe so, but I don't know.
Well, there's like Bayview Beach or
okay.
So there's a few others. But Laurel Beach is near and dear to my heart because my family's there.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I've been there, so it's very nice. And there are a lot of beaches in Milford,
tons of beaches,
a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of market areas, which we're going to get into as we get into our real estate stats. And my slides are up, but I'm not sure if I just do anything. Or...
we're not heading into the stats yet. Yeah, okay, we're just talking.
Just talking. All right, just making sure. So I looked up a couple what I thought were pretty cool facts about Milford. So we all know Silver Sands State Park, which is the fourth largest shoreline state park in Connecticut.
Oh, interesting.
Well, actually, no, not fourth largest. It became the fourth shoreline state park.
And how did it become a state park?
Well, well, that's interesting. In 1955, there was a Hurricane Diane. In 1955, led
she was
to
the main one.
She was she? You were alive back then? You weren't alive. What do you know?
Minus 15.
So it was created. The Silver Sands State Park was created back then because of the storm, or having to do with the storm. So what they did was they took some areas by eminent domain, and the interesting thing is that they took some properties. In 1971, there was a woman named Doris Gagnon,
yep.
Fondly known as the Chicken Lady, and they took her small beach cottage,
or not fondly
known as the Chicken
Depends
Lady.
On who's getting the fondness.
There you go. And so she was, her place was taken by eminent domain, which means the town or the state can take it over. But they're usually paid a sum of money to, for the displacement and the
fair market value,
which wasn't a lot, $15,000. So she still refused to leave the beach. So she ended up living in a trailer for the next 23 years until her death in 1994. And she lived in a trailer and raised chickens, hence being known as the Chicken Lady. So she collected rainwater in barrels for drinking and bathing. They tried to get her out, but it never worked. So
now look who's the historian this week. It is quite the hats have changed, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, so back to Silver Sands. So there's a Charles Island, which you can see from the state park, which is known or rumored to have a treasure on the island, right?
On Charles Island,
yep,
yeah.
On Charles Island.
Captain Kidd's treasure. He was moving up the East Coast, heading to Boston, and they nabbed him in Boston.
In 1699.
but he didn't have his treasure on him. They found out that some of the cash, maybe all, maybe not,
Yep.
was in Gardiner's Island in Long Island, but they think some was buried on Charles Island. No one has found it. I'll
Right.
tell
So
you
you technically can still go there to explore.
that. I don't know if you can dig.
Yeah, maybe be a little careful.
This
We're
is
not
in
sure
Oak
of the rules.
Island in Nova Scotia. My second favorite TV show.
So what you're referring to with a different type of neighbor in that area in Silver Sands was not the chicken lady, but in fact, Bill Clinton.
Oh yeah, I
lived-
forget. Bill
yeah.
Clinton used to live there.
Yep, he lived there while he was a law student at Yale, and he
You
lived
think
on
he
East.
had Hillary over?
You know what? I don't even know, and I don't want to know. None of my business.
Okay. All right. move
Don't
on.
know. Not going politics, but he lived on East Broadway. So that's kind of a cool side fact. So
All right.
Yeah.
Some quick things about Milford. They have their Oyster Festival, which is hugely attended every August.
it'll be August 15th this year.
And coming up on the 14th of March is their St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Yep, it's at the Irish Club. It's called
Well,
Irish Heritage
Heritage
We'll just
Club
start-
in Devon.
Devon, right? It's from 12 to 3, and you're encouraged to wear white
Oh, really?
and some green
Some
suffrage,
green, I
some
hope.
green things, and some suffrage signs, which we're not allowed to talk about because I don't really
I don't know
understand
if it
that.
starts there. It's downtown.
What is this? Okay, sorry. It starts downtown. Don't mind me, but I think they run it. Maybe they
yeah,
head it
sure.
up. Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, but we'll talk more about the events as we get to the events section at the end too. So,
Sure, absolutely.
yeah.
So we're going to jump right into the real estate stats for Milford.
yes. So again, every week we focus on a town and we focus on the real estate stats of the last 2 full years of 2018 and 19 single family homes. So to give you a little perspective, in 2018, we had 645 homes that sold. And in the next year of 2019, we had 619 homes that sold. A little bit.
Yeah, the difference there was, short of 4.2%.
Yeah. So it shows that it's still a consistent market, which I think we're seeing with a lot of the towns now that we're doing this on a weekly basis. We're seeing a lot of consistency between the last 2 calendar years, which is great.
Yep.
We talked about Milford neighborhoods, all those beaches, all those neighborhoods. There is a ton. There's actually a lot more than this. And
Well,
it
we
couldn't
just
fit
did, I think, the top 10.
yeah, because it could have fit all on the graph. And there's a lot more. There's some that we didn't even know were in existence.
Yes. Never even heard areas of Milford called this, but we'll get to those in the next slide.
Right. So every town has an NA or non-applicable sort of neighborhood distinction. So we are going to just ignore that and just show that we have a lot of the highest number of sales when you start getting to named neighborhoods is the Woodmont section, followed by Devon, followed by the Fort Trumbull Beach area. So
Yep.
just give you a little perspective. And this actually identifies in the list all of the market areas or neighborhoods. Again, some I've not personally even seen or been to.
Edador Park was a new one for
Yeah,
us.
no
I actually polled a few people while we were out doing our go-to today.
Yeah.
And they're like, never heard of it.
No,
Never
no.
heard
And this
of
is our job.
Yeah.
This is what we do all day long. We're realtors all day
Yeah,
long. So,
it. So,
but I think the lesson here is there's always things to learn, never
Absolutely.
too old to learn stuff.
absolutely.
All right. Average sale price of single family homes in 2018, $333,896, and slightly higher in the next year, $336,104. So again, there's your expectation of what you can expect when you buy in Milford in the average, if you will, price range.
And your average size home,
Right,
obviously. Yeah.
right. So average days on market. So that is when it goes on live on market on the internet, MLS, and then until it gets an accepted offer. In 2018, it was 63 days, and 2019 took a little bit longer. It was 72 days.
Quite a difference of 14.2% there. But you're still sticking around,
Yeah.
again, that 2-month period, which seems to be, pretty much our standard the last few episodes.
That's right, George. And I think that's an important stat there too, because sellers want to know the expectation of how long they need to wait to have their house sold or
Sold.
have an accepted offer. So total dollar volume of sales. This always dollar. This number is always good because it's big. It's a big number. $215,362,770.
Can we just round up, please?
215 million in 2018 of sales. 2019, we had 208 million in sales.
Good rounding.
Slightly
I like
less
that.
by 3.6%.
Okay.
Okay.
Steady Eddie again on their sales price ratio, the last listing price to the closed price sales. So they're hovering right there in 2018 and 2019 at about 97%.
Right. So it's manage your expectation. You're the seller. What can I get for my house? You're probably going to get on or about 97% of what you're asking.
Assuming no adjustments.
Well, assuming no complications, no challenges, which does happen in every real estate deal.
Of course. So we have 6 people watching right now. Kind of exciting. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So current market, what's happening now in the city of Milford? We currently have 92 homes on the market for sale. Average asking price, not sale price. Average list price, $578,000. I just rounded it up there. Currently, we have 40 homes that have a fully executed contract or deposit. Average ask price of those homes, $328,000, and homes that have an accepted offer but are probably still dealing with inspections. We have 49 of those, and the average listing or ask price is $433,000.
And right now they're all kind of sitting around 78 days, a little longer than our average that we stated earlier.
Yeah, which is interesting.
But
Inventory, maybe?
Well, I was thinking the winter months kicking into springtime.
That's true. And remember, it is spring market, although today was fairly warm, but even though it feels like it's winter and snow out there, we do have spring market begins for us in February. So that's when we start.
This is an addition slide. More data, the better. That's my position.
George loves data.
Who doesn't? So run us through. It's because we're only in the first month of 2020. So the first month of being January, of course,
yes,
compared to the first month in 2019.
Oh, okay. So we had
That'll
about
be you.
That's me. Okay, we had about a 10% change or 11% change. Below
That's new listings.
Sorry. Number of new listings. We had about 11% less listings in 2019 versus 2020.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
In the same month of January. So,
this is the highlight here. The closed sales are up 21% over January 2019, 28 in 19, and 34 in 2020.
That's interesting.
That's a big leap. I mean, honestly.
Well, it shows maybe this fall market was a little bit late.
Yep.
For some market. And every town, every area is different. It really is interesting. So something to keep in mind, keep an eye on too. It just shows you, I think, that people are buying and selling throughout the year.
Yeah. I mean, everyone take a look at this. I mean, from here on down, from the days on market, so a few more days, 6 days, but your average and your median go up about 12%. And your percent of list price received goes up by almost a full percentage, up to 98. So 2020 is off to a good start for Milford.
Yep.
So now we jump into
our featured Milford listing.
Yes.
Which is
a disclaimer. This is my listing.
Yep.
This is my family's house in Laurel Beach. It is 2 houses on one property. It's listed at $995,000. Pretty unique property. It's great for investors. You can always live in one house and rent out the other. You can rent both houses. Again, this is part of the Laurel Beach area. So it has the amenities of the association, the Combe Beach. They have a clubhouse, tennis courts.
They cut your grass every single week. I mean, that's huge.
That's a part of the association fees. They do your landscaping, but that's just cutting your grass,
right.
Your bushes and stuff. But the back house overlooks the Housatonic River and the tidal area there. The front house is right on First Ave. You're about 6 houses from the pathway to Laurel Beach. So it's quite a spectacular house. Honestly, check it out. Always can give me a ring, shoot me a message, and we'll be glad to get you in there.
Yeah, who better to show the house to you than the actual listing agent, which of course is George.
Sure. And we do have an open house this Sunday.
Oh, yes.
1 to 4 p.m. Erika and I will be there. If you want to come by and say hi, stop by. It's 283 First Avenue.
Right. And you may just want to stop by and see what we're like in real life. And yes, we do look as good in real life as we do on camera. So just to be clear. But one thing about this house too, I just want to say, George mentioned possible, investor rental. Currently it's a family compound, if you will. So it's a great way to have, different generations of families living on one property. They are definitely distinctly separate homes, but you have that option, which you don't see, you really very rarely see that opportunity. So to be clear, it's one property, two homes, and it's pretty unique. So
yeah, I mean, what's also cool about, which I should have mentioned, but the back house has first floor living. So even if you have an older
if you have those needs that you need just one floor living,
living, the back house really caters to person, couple, family with those needs.
Yeah. So again, check us out this Sunday. We'll be there 1 to 4. Maybe we'll even have like a door prize. I don't know. I'm thinking like door prize.
Sure. We'll do a raffle for a local restaurant.
We will. Oh, I'm thinking, hold on. I have a thought. You can mention that you listened to our podcast.
Oh, good one.
Then you get a prize.
Get a prize.
I love
bottle of water with my face on it.
Probably, maybe even more. We're not sure. We'll let you know what it's going to be. Just show up.
So our third live interview this week is with John Cusmano. John is a friend of mine, and he does all her family's insurances for a reason. John is with the Cusmano Agency. We sat down with John and had a conversation. Have a listen, folks. All right, guys, welcome to episode 6, the industry focus. This week, we are concentrating on homeowners insurance. In studio, we have John Cusmano with the Cusmano Agency. Hey, John, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're great.
I'm great.
You're great?
I'm always great.
You are always great.
Thanks.
So we're going to touch on a few subjects here with John, and John's going to walk us through if you're buying a property or even if you need general insurance from John. Or
if you're changing your insurance or, the whole process.
And what John offers to really anyone in buyers, sellers. So Erika, why don't you start us off?
Okay, well, I have a first question. So John, how did you get into the business? You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came about to be?
Absolutely. I've been in this business now 28 years. Started with a bet from my father, who was in the business, and he didn't want me in the restaurant business.
Did you win or lose that bet?
He won.
He won.
They always do.
And he bet me that I would do well in the insurance business, and he let me go ahead and start my first agency in Fairfield. And he said I would succeed. I said I wouldn't, and he won. I lost.
He did win.
He won. And here you are 28 years later, clearly successful.
Yeah.
So did you start right off, John? I know you're with Nationwide 28 years ago.
28 years ago, yeah, Nationwide captive agent.
Captive agent, and now you're the Cusmano Agency, which is considered an independent broker?
It's going independent July 1st.
July 1st.
That's what Nationwide is, letting all their agents be independent.
Oh, interesting.
And that's a positive thing, I imagine, for the industry,
it's turning out to be a positive.
Okay, good. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. So why don't you walk us through, we have a buyer and they just went into contract. And when are we telling them to contact you? At what point do they start shopping the rates? Do you think is best for them? Because we know they need to have insurance for the mortgage.
Right. It's a requirement. It's one of their check boxes to...
a lot of times what I do is I ask them, once their mortgage broker has approved them for the loan, and starts asking them, who's your agent for insurance, that's the best time to give me a call, and then we can provide the quote for them then.
So it's usually once you've gone through the inspection process and really negotiated and say, hey, do you have an insurance agent? If not, we usually recommend our favorite agent, John Cusmano, Cusmano Agency.
Obviously in Fairfield. So that's probably brings us about 45 days till closing. So that's ample time for you, right? That's
ample time, yes.
What's your tightest time frame when someone sort of dropped the ball?
Hours.
Oh, can you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, so that sounds maybe very stressed just thinking about that. I don't do last minute things. That makes me stressed out. That's good to know that you're capable of crisis management.
Absolutely.
I like those words.
We've done closings minutes and hours.
Okay. That's good. It's good to know, because you need someone like that on your team to jump in when you have to.
Besides the homeowners policy, obviously you have carry other lines, and why don't you give us a brief, highlights of what you do?
Along with the home, you can do the auto insurance as well, which will maybe bundle it with the home, auto, and umbrella. That's your personal lines. That's the bulk of it. If you have boats or motorcycles or anything along those lines, we can put that together as well. And then there's commercial insurance, which is, if you own a restaurant or if you own whatever you own, we can insure it.
And that's, a lot of the restaurant kind of stuff is liability insurance. And then you get into, obviously, liquor.
Oh, yeah, for the restaurant, so liquor liability, and the garage is garage keepers policies. And there's all different lines of insurance for every different business owner.
And your product line come July 1st, if...
We're looking at having about 7 to 12 different personal lines carriers and around 15 different commercial line carriers.
Oh, wow.
So for those of us who are not and never have been in the restaurant business, only civilian at the table, apparently. Wow.
You're the only one at the table.
Clearly. So when I bought my house, my dad being the evermost attorney that he is, said I had to get a personal umbrella policy, for X amount of dollars or millions, because he's an attorney and that's how we live. So you guys do that too, right?
Absolutely.
Personal umbrellas. And do you recommend that?
Absolutely.
Can you tell people what that is? Because some of the younger homeowners.
When I just hear umbrella and I think covering all.
Pretty much, you're covering covering your ass.
You're covering everything.
Yeah.
And, basically open it up, and anything that you own that we can put under there for liability purposes, not the personal property, not your own property, but if you get sued and you're negligent for something,
or if somebody falls on your property, that kind of thing.
Negligence. Yeah, you become negligent when somebody falls on your property.
Okay, and my dad was very big on that, so I thought, in case he didn't know about it, now you know.
Most people get $1 million, but it does. Your assets will determine how much you should get.
Yeah, I think.
And they're relatively inexpensive to attach an umbrella to your policy. Yeah.
Oh, it's like $13 a month, or
no, it's a little bit more than that these days. But
I'll check my bank account.
If you're running two autos and a home and $1 million umbrella, roughly around $250 a year.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't compute, but that's about what I pay, I think.
So the advantages of bundling, if you have to go to different product lines, does that work as well? Or do you have to stay with the same, insurer?
Well, no, a lot of times what we try and do is put people with the same companies. So if you have your home, your auto, and your umbrella with one company, you're going to most likely 9 out of 10 times get the best rate.
The best rate by staying with that company.
Right. Yeah. You're going to have the home and auto, and you're going to have a monthly premium. And
and it's cheaper too, right? To bundle everything?
It can be.
Isn't it most recommended to put everything together?
According to Flo, it is.
Come
on, Flo.
Flo from Progressive.
Don't mention the competitor.
I just said Flo.
I write Progressive Insurance.
Listen.
So John writes Progressive. So hey, we're there.
No competitors.
Pro Flo. Fine. Okay. Well, let me bring it back to the house thing, since that's my day job, our real estate. So people always ask me, the realtor, or us, how much will my homeowners insurance? And I've always said, and honestly, I don't really know. I always throw a number like $1,800 a year. I have no idea.
Well, today having no idea. I have no idea when they first call me. How much is the rate? Well, I have to do the quote.
Right.
So I need the property address. I need your personal information, and it uses a credit score.
It does. That was my question, because I'll be honest, I haven't done this in so long for my own personal property, so I don't know. Yeah,
it's more of an insurance credit score than it is the credit score the mortgage company.
All right, can you explain that? Because we just learned about that last week, the FICO.
It's a consumer credit score, a FICO mortgage score, and is there an insurance?
No, it's the consumer credit
credit score.
Usually what they use. So I don't need a social security phone number from me. We take it off your current address.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of times, if you're moving into a new house, I'll ask you what your current address is and how long you've been there. And then we get the consumer report off of that. And so, each house can be different rates with different people.
So just be clear. So their credit does dictate their cost of their homeowners insurance they're going to get.
And their auto insurance.
People don't think of that. That's really, I don't.
Do boat insurance or motorcycle insurance, their umbrella. It dictates everything, and the state allows it.
So bottom line is, once again, good credit is critical for everything.
But it's more than good credit with the consumer report.
What else is it?
It's your cash flow and how you spend money.
All right. Can you detail that? Because I find that so fascinating.
You do.
Gotta check my
a lot of times you'll have a contractor or a business owner that has a high credit limit, and he's constantly turning his credit card over, paying it off every month. He's got great credit. He's probably high 7s, low 8s.
Okay.
but his consumer report might be lower than his wife because his wife doesn't have that high turnover with the credit card with the business. And I find that happens a lot.
So, so you want to have a high turnover?
No,
or
you don't.
You want to show that you're not spending a ton, even though you're paying it off every month.
Right.
So
that could be bad in the insurance world.
Because we're back to the utilization, and sometimes depend on when you ping their credit is what their utilization is, even though in a week it'll be paid off.
Oh, that's
it all depends.
Okay.
It all depends, yeah. And consumer doesn't use that high ping like a FICO does. It just uses that constant monthly.
It just takes a look at the history.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did not know that.
Wow, now we know. Huh, that's good. So that's actually very helpful. And it's really helpful knowing the distinction between the insurance or the consumer credit score versus the FICO that we learned about last week. Okay, this is good. I didn't know that. 21 years in the business, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So, John, I reached out to you a few days ago, and I know we just want to touch on this briefly, but because quite honestly, I didn't know how it works. I know it could be done, but flood insurance and be able to assume the seller's flood insurance policy and the grandfathering clause. Just quickly,
a lot of the grandfathering. Yeah, you can sit there and now assume somebody else's flood insurance via the grandfathering of FEMA let you do, especially if the house is non-compliant, meaning that it hasn't been lifted to compliance. I think it was 2012. When was Sandy? Right after Sandy, when that's to happen. And so that being said, if you have a client who's paying $1,000 a year for flood insurance, and I'm using a number off the top of my head, you can assume that policy. I don't know how much longer that will last.
As far as assuming the policy. And that's a FEMA regulation?
That's a FEMA regulation right now.
Huh.
So that's sort of a gray area that they must be constantly in conversation about that, right?
And talking rules and regulations is just so hard because there's so much fluctuation with everything. But there is private insurance coming out.
Okay.
We use some private insurance companies
for flood.
For flood.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to ask you to your earlier point, John, how often is this fluctuation of rules and regs? I mean, in other words, can we trust it for at least 1 year, or is it?
Oh, yeah, you can trust it. Once you get a policy in effect, you can trust the policy year.
Okay.
On that. Yeah, no, it's not going to, nothing will happen midterm.
Yeah.
They're never going to change anything midterm.
So once again, George, your answer and my answer to our clients when they ask about that, we simply put our hands up and say, go speak to someone, speak to John Cusmano, because we can't honestly answer it correctly.
Well,
we don't know.
Even though the policy stated a Y next to grandfathering, it's still not 100%. You're sure that it's going to be assumable.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So you really have to have, put them in a contact with the person like John.
Make John deal with it.
Yep. So anything else you want to touch on, John, or, you got going on?
How do we reach you? If I'm a client and I'm looking for my homeowners.
And I know you have
insurance.
A new office. I haven't been to the new office yet.
We're over at 425 Kings Highway East in Fairfield, right across from Walmart's on the second floor. You can reach me on my phone number at 203-394-6645. And obviously on my email anytime, john@cusmanoagency.com, or my website, cusmanoagency.com.
Excellent. Well, John, we really appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully it didn't take too much of your day.
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. This is awesome.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Okay. That was great. Just to clarify, across from Walgreens, not Walmart.
Yeah, across from Walgreens.
Yeah, the first letter right, W.
It's the same family, right?
Yeah. So John's great. So again, please do check him out and refer to our slides and our website for his information should you need it.
Yep, we'll have links to this podcast in our show notes to get a hold of John, and really any of the links, including the Google slide presentation, will be in our show notes.
All right, so we're going to move on.
Where do we head from here?
We're going to go to our go-to. This is our favorite thing for George and I, because we get to do all this stuff. Yeah. We are working,
Today was an awesome day.
Today was a good day. Yeah. So why don't you start? I feel like this is your area.
Lasse's is another of my family's favorite, although we did discover it way before my family moved to Milford 12 or so years ago. Lasse's is on the Post Road, also known as Bridgeport Avenue, 611 Bridgeport Ave in Milford. Can be found at lassesrestaurant.com. Famously known for their hot roast beef sandwiches, but their menu is is
It's
deep.
extensive.
It's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Italian dishes, extensive amount of seafood on there. And today we had lunch and we did share a hot roast beef sandwich with onions, cheese, and the au jus.
And we also shared a Cuban
Sandwich. Yeah.
And for the record, just to point out that it was my first time. So I feel like that gives a perspective.
Yeah. Well, you have to tell us
Yeah.
about your first time. But
Well, my first time was great. So it was really good. It was definitely surprising how delicious it was and very quick, the service.
I mean,
Turnaround time is incredibly quick.
They know lunch. I mean, we were probably in and out in little over 30 minutes.
Which is a good thing because we were working today all day. We're very busy.
Very
This
busy.
is not what we do for our job. We
But
don't just,
it's right in the middle of kind of the car dealership area of the Post Road
Yeah.
in Milford. They obviously have a lot of technicians come in there, a lot of salespeople.
Yeah, but
And they get
highly
'em in and
recommend
out.
it. Yeah, I mean, great turnaround, great pricing, not to quote the numbers, but really well priced and the food is delicious.
Yeah.
It was great.
I
So
mean, the setting is casual. It is definitely relaxed. It's been there since 1964. The Ronig family, Scott runs it now. I know he just does a killer catering job.
I like that you use the word relaxed to describe the atmosphere.
I
That's a
like
good
it.
no, that's a good one.
Yeah. Casually relaxed.
Casually
relaxed.
relaxed.
But I mean, I can't even recommend Lasse's enough.
Yeah.
If you're in town, Milford, it's right on the Post Road, right up.
Give it a chance.
Yeah,
it's
give
good.
it a chance.
You won't regret it. If you do, call us and we'll talk about it. Okay, moving on. So Sophie Claire's we went to, which is this really neat store in the Harbor Walk, which is right in. Am I saying that right? Harbor Walk.
Yep, it's right off the Milford Green downtown. Kind of if you're heading north on the right side of the green, or the I guess that'd be south side of the
I don't
green.
know. But it's in the center of town. It's in Milford Green, and Harbor Walk is literally just a walk into what seems like a large parking lot, but it's an extension of a bunch of stores, like this type of size or boutiques called Sophie Claire. So we had a really nice conversation with the owner today, Amy
DiSabella. Yep. Amy
Lovely.
is in our slides. She's posing there.
This is her. She's lovely. She's beautiful as she is in the slide, and she's a lovely person. And interesting, the name of the store is named after her daughter, Sophie Claire. So I thought that was kind of a neat little thing.
Absolutely. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So you walk in and you see, a bunch of what you kind of would expect, right? Some household items,
some stuff for her.
Mainly all for her. A lot of household gifts, a lot of sort of decor, a lot of artwork, and then you see furniture. And the interesting thing is that's her. It seems like her bulk of her or main focus is.
Yeah, she said her main focus is the furniture restoration kind of. What she goes out to flea markets.
Oh, she explores. Yeah,
she stops at the tag sales and picks up these, vintage type furniture.
And she was very clear. It has to be vintage. It has to have the quality wood that she can work with.
She was speaking of mahogany. She was speaking of maple,
cherry,
and cherry, and she repurposed it into a shabby chic. Would that be the proper word?
I had to ask her twice. So what's the phrase? She used two phrases that resonated with me: shabby chic and antique chic. But the furniture is beautiful, and that she creates. So what she does is she also custom creates furniture. So if you have a piece of furniture that you just don't care for the look of it, but it's a quality wood piece of furniture, you bring it to her and she will redo it in the way that you want it. And she's busy. She's got a 6 week waiting list now.
Yeah, she opened up kind of this curtain area.
Yeah,
and that's her workspace of where she repurposes this furniture, which I loved. Rustic to refined. That was my favorite quote.
So of course I have a mirror now in mind that I want to bring to her, but it was impressive. So definitely check it out. The goods that have there are great, but the furniture thing was really interesting. So, and I think she's friends with your sister-in-law, which is kind of neat. So
my sister-in-law Jennifer and her
hi,
good
Jen.
friends. Hi, Jen. But check it out. It's on the Harbor Walk area of the Milford Green.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Which brings us to
our events section.
Events. I have to get my sheet of paper here.
Okay, I have my sheet of paper, the correct one this week. So I'll let you start.
All right. The first one is the last call at Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall is the kind of the sports center on campus at Fairfield University. It has been around since 1959. It has been home to the basketball team, the volleyball team of Fairfield U. And this Saturday, they're doing their last call. They're going to have a prayer service. It is a Jesuit university. But they're also going to have some fun stuff, music,
Drinks,
food.
For all nominal price. I think it's like $25 a ticket or something.
25, and some of that money is being donated towards the building of the new convocation center. So,
right.
Which will, I assume, is going to take probably 2 years or so. I didn't look that part up, but check it out. It is this Saturday, March 7th from 7 to 10 p.m. At 2 p.m., the women's basketball team plays their last official game at 2 p.m. in Alumni Hall.
Okay. Well, I want to do the next one.
You can. Well, you're going to do the
I
next
want
two.
I want to do the bottom one. International Women's Day. I feel like it's better that I probably, talk about this one, George.
Oh, okay. I was going right.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was going down. So I'm going to go down.
All right.
International Women's Day, which is Sunday, March 8th. The interesting thing about this is that it's, of course, all over the world. I'll be doing some little social media on my personal website. So I'm sure you'll do the same, George.
But the Aspetuck Brewery makes it fun.
Yes. Aspetuck Brew Lab makes it fun. They are actually, half of the owners are women. You have to see the details.
Of the two.
Oh, let me just read this here. Okay. Aspetuck Brew Lab on Sunday, March 8th from 1 to 6 p.m. It's on Fairfield Avenue. They are celebrating all the amazing women in our lives with $5 pours for everyone. And they are proud to be 50% women owned with some amazing women working in the tap room.
It is a neat brew lab. I mean, he is a scientist truly of the beers he creates and how he names them. But they'll be there celebrating International Women's Day in the Black Rock section. The next one we have picked is the Alpaca Gnomes on stage 1. That is at the FTC, the Fairfield Theater Company.
One of George's favorite bands.
Yeah, this is again one of my favorite bands. We know the crew.
We know that already.
It's at stage 1, like I said, March 15th, 7:45 to 10:45. The Alpaca Gnomes are a vibrant, foot-stopping 7-piece original rock folk jam band. So check it out. It is in the center of town in Fairfield at the Fairfield Theater Company.
Right at the train station.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to Milford, we mentioned at the very beginning, we'll just circle back to that a little more detail. So every year they have the annual Milford Oyster Festival. And then we said earlier that this year it'll be on August 15th. It'll be the 46th annual Milford Oyster Festival. So, George, got a question for you.
I'm ready.
Okay. How many oysters do you think that they serve at this oyster festival? I have the answer.
Why did you look it up and didn't
well,
tell me?
Because I wanted to put you on the spot. This is good. You're smart.
I'm going to guess 13,000.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to give you one more guess.
All right. I'm going to guess 5,800.
Good Lord, no. 30,000 oysters.
Holy Toledo.
I'll repeat that. 30,000 oysters. And of course, accompanied by some
Who shucks them?
Oh, I have no idea that part. But accompanied by some delicious beers and whatnot, it makes quite the day.
Yeah. We did skip over to the 1-year anniversary at Area 2. It's another brewery.
Oh.
At the Two Roads Brewing in Stratford. So it's a 1-year anniversary coming up. Also March 7th it's running all day. It's from 12 to 9 p.m. The Walrus in Carpenter is the pop-up food vendor.
Oh,
that'll
delicious.
be there. Yeah, they're going to be launching some cool beers that day. The Black Raspberry Lambic and the Area 2's cult favorite, the Urban Funk. They'll be launching that day as well.
That name. So remember, we have all of our events on our website. So we continue to add to these events. So, we kind of want to be your we want to be your resource of, what you're going to do this weekend, what you're going to do next week. You come to us, we'll tell you what to do. We have all the good stuff, all the intel.
All right, let's advance the slide. You did a good job today.
I did.
Very
I know.
Good job.
Usually I forget my only job. So we have this new thing coming up. You want to talk about it?
All right. So while I was doing the ones and the twos, we're calling it the inside. We did a poll on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep.
We're going to do a live call-in show. We're calling it Inside the Deal.
That was the poll to figure out the proper name.
The Inside Deal or Inside the Deal. Inside the Deal won hands
That
down.
was a winner. Yeah.
90 something percent. We're going to start it in a few weeks. We're hopefully 3 weeks from today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
By the
I'll
way,
be there.
so stay tuned. Check out all our social media when we're going to
Yeah.
launch that.
It'll be great. So you can challenge us, ask us questions, ask us anything. We can handle it. And if we can't handle it, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Well, we'll research it.
We'll research it and
back
get
to
back to you. Okay. So just for the next 2 weeks, we have a slightly revised schedule because we will not be able to do a live podcast for the next 2 Tuesday nights. It'll be the next 2 Wednesday nights.
I will tell you, one of those days is my fault.
Yes. And one is mine. So it's again 50-50.
Yes. So
As we are
it falls
partners.
on St. Patrick's Day.
Yep.
So
And the other one's a personal situation.
personal situation.
Yeah. So anyway, 50-50 as we always are, George, partners for life. And I think we're all set.
Well, I think we have one more slide.
Oh God, I always forget. Okay.
Who are those attractive
Yeah, that's us.
people?
That's us. So our day job, we are full-time licensed realtors in Connecticut. We do residential and commercial real estate. And again, that's me, Erika. That's my information. And of course, we've got George.
Aren't you the brains?
Oh, and I'm also the brains, obviously. And George, you are the
Looks, obviously.
Yeah.
And we are with William Pitt Sothebys, 251 Main Street in Southport. Our contact information will be attached to this podcast, so you can see it right here on the slide.
Yep.
So that's about it.
We'll
folks.
see you all next week. And we're going to focus on Westport next week. And again, feel free to reach out, talk to us, ask us questions, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good night.
Thanks, folks.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed by the podcast hosts and their guests are theirs solely. The information shared has been professionally sourced and disseminated through the resources provided by the sponsoring real estate brokerage and their real estate experiences.